Three, three, five, five. All right. So I remember now. I lived with an autistic chick. First 15 years of my life, we shared the same space from 1990 to 2005, and then she moved away. She was a Swedish housewife. So I wound up with autistic tendencies. And I guess the night terror last night was a sort of a stranger getting accustomed to possibly the new apartment or what, or as a somewhat of a house sitter, or it's maybe it's just the apartment attached to mine, in the same caravan, the same mobile home, the same trailer, but a separate apartment. So it is a he has a new car in the driveway. Yeah, so thanks for that. I know she can't help it, and neither can her parents, or one of her parents or whatever. Love of my life for 15 years, and then she moves off away to Bible school, to go learn about like Christian stuff or whatever. And there's been like tits and tats of that one. I try and keep it a nameless sugary, but I mean it's a piece of my life, and it's not like I can pretend like I didn't grow up, with a cribmate that had autism, and I developed tendencies from her, because it's not like we're brother and sister. She's not related. It's that if Jerry's daughter, right, fell off the face of the earth or just said no when she was old enough. Although I lived with it with her until about 96 when I settled into the house, and she kept getting muscled on about tour with her pa, with her ma, is that check check three three check check five five. So all supposed quote unquote, from what I hear, in comments he was live, as far as the then, 30 seconds ago, was a fantasy fiction, quote unquote, aside, for fantasy role playing. You're making that up because you don't have any money. See, I'm right here and you haven't given me anything. I mean, I don't have any money. I want some of yours if you have some. So, but you obviously don't, because I'm right next to you, and you haven't paid, sort of thing. So we'll call all of that fantasy fiction. Well, I check two, three. So I lived with an autistic girl for 15 years, right, and I wound up with developing some minor autistic tendencies, which happen to check three, two. So from time and time again, I'll wind up I'll check. I guess you gotta. So it says it's the car, right? It's just a new car in the driveway, and I says, like deliverance, ding 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 ding. That it's a I don't want to say it because I used to have a parrot. I just passed away here. Like 3 weeks ago. So like party with a Purty. Not to make an insult to it's gonna get stranger, or whatever, And I guess they've been prodding around the radio show too for like, I doubt they watched 1 through 100, but like, it's not really that important. But I wound up finding the source of the fear in night terrors. Like a couple nights ago, it's like I let go and fell unconscious, and I guess I was dreaming, of a special moment, or spec a time between ages 0 and 15, when I used to spend the majority of my time with my significant other back then, when he happens to have autism. So blend in, like this says, like dodge this, like from the Orson Welles redo of 1999, who was in that, Lawrence Fishburne. Um, blend in, get in, dodge this, sort of thing. So anyway, so I was blending into, someone that it was born with autism I lived with her for about 15 years, and it was just awkward. So about 6 hours ago, I noticed like the onset of something. I was like, "Whoa, this is strange. Maybe I'll just work through it with another like, well, I'll do show 105, the NBC New England radio show." And the heck not. I started it a few days ago. I dropped it. I've been picking it up and putting it down. It's season 4. Might as well. I did 1, 2, and 3 decent. 1 through 104 wasn't so good, but I mean 100 through 104 wasn't so good, but and there was that, and then I was trying to get to sleep tonight. Now my plan was to start my heart, but unfortunately I felt so unsettled from like verbal contact from it feels like feet away, and for some reason the autistic tendencies kicked up. It's like I don't want to get to know each other through the walls, and I don't even know what you look like, and you're whispering at me. It's like awkward. You didn't want to wait between 9 and 5 Monday through Friday to knock on the door and say hello. Should I wait? Should I notice like what you make and model of the person driving the new vehicle in my neighbor's driveway first, and then wait for 9 to 5, weather pending, Monday through Friday, and knock on the door and say hello, or leave a note, or ask the landlord, the park owner or something. You really got to keep me up 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, just tit and tat and snicker pester through the walls like you're somebody, you know? Come on. Anyway, so I had to phone that in to administrative authority figures, beyond emergency service or park lord or, in park security or anything similar for my own well being. So I didn't have a heart attack, a stroke, an aneurysm, a hemorrhage, and etc. I've been on heavy pharmaceutical for 4,300 days, and I couldn't quite place the finger on what startled me yesterday, or this morning maybe, but I figured it had been about 24 hours. And for the past 6 hours or 5.5 hours, it's been an onset of something. I couldn't quite put my finger on it exactly, but I realized that it would have been somewhat of a synthetic autistic temper tantrum, which might result in me snapping my neck. Not necessarily as in the breaking the bone or severing some kind of, like nerves between, the spine and the head. Um, but a pop in the cartilage, like crack my spine, they say proverbially, and it puts you in sort of a faint. I couldn't start my heart, and I couldn't start my heart, and I couldn't start my heart, and I can't be. I feel comfortable being anywhere, And every time I blink or try and close my eyes a little bit, it feels like this weird, strange presence is soaking in, like it did a couple days ago, which resulted in a minor seizure. Not chemically, and then it was all right, until about half an hour ago, where I felt one of my mood swings coming on. It's like, hey, how did I originally cope with dealing with autistic tendencies? For the first 15 years, it was, rock back and forth, cover your ears, make loud noises, poop yourself until you black out, and then you just faint and wake up in the hospital. Pretty much, unless someone whipped your ass with a belt and forced you to man up, or squat up, or bulk up, or run away. So there was that, and then there was, just drown them out with white noise. So I'm doing a little bit of a wrapping up a 10-minute segment set. And I've been this assertive and aggressive and, however stern is the correct word, I suppose. With tiny voices from Cyberland, little people in my ears that don't exist, unless you press the on button. Supposedly, it's not like anyone else has worked around Department of Defense computers for the past 15 years or so. High-tech military technologies downgraded for civilian use, and close quarters with high-tech military technologies, never downgraded, I suppose, continually getting upgrades while these few machines are getting conversions. So on the next advertisement, I'll be finding something from a SOD 2003. It was Gramps' last rock opera album, neck and neck with Slipknot Volume 3, Subliminal Verses. It was the Toxicity C, he said. 940, chick.